Welcome, Florence Unified Schools staff. My name is Micaiah Boye. I'm the assistant to Julie Kicker, the Aflac agent for Florence Unified. In our office, Julie does the enrolling, but I do pretty much everything else, both pre and post enrollment, such as scheduling appointments, sending out information and doing quotes, handling claims and policy servicing, etc. So we thought it would be best for me to present this webinar so that you could meet me, so to speak, since you will be dealing mostly with me during your Aflac relationship. Let's get right down to business. The most important thing you need to know about Aflac is that we pay you cash when you get sick or hurt and seek medical services, or when you are off of work due to an illness or injury. This means we are a complement to your major medical insurance, not competition, not a replacement. We work with whatever insurance you currently have and help to fill the gaps. This is important to know because the majority of major medical insurance that Americans have does leave gaps that many people may not be aware of. These gaps typically come in the form of these three items you see on your screen: deductibles, copays, and coinsurance. These items are a big reason why Aflac came into existence, to provide a financial safety net. Let's go over these terms just very quickly. A deductible is the amount you owe for covered health care services before your health insurance or plan begins to pay. Often, a person will get a certain amount of annual care type services or simple illness visits that are 100% covered, or where you only have to pay a small copayment amount. These deductibles often do reset every year, so you would have to pay the deductible every year before your insurance would begin to pay. A copay is an amount you pay as your share of the cost for a medical service or item, like a doctor's visit. These are generally quite small, $25 to $50, maybe $100 for an ER visit. Coinsurance is your share of the cost for a covered healthcare service, usually calculated as a percentage, like 20%, of the allowed amount for the service. Now that we understand that, let's walk through the plans we offer at Florence Unified so that you can get an idea of what exactly all this means for you. First up is our most popular plan, the accident plan. This is Aflac's estimate they have found through research of the average cost of a broken leg, $7,152. You can see they'd estimate after major medical coverage, you could still owe $2,861. If you were to get the accident plan offered through FUSD, you could potentially get $2,950 based on this scenario that would be paid in cash directly to you. That would be enough to cover your out-of-pocket expenses and leave you with a little bit left. Next up is short-term disability. Our short-term disability policy is something that is essential if you don't have much sick time accrued, you're planning on having a baby, or if you don't have enough in savings to cover a month or more of bills and living expenses. As you'll see on a couple of these infographic data, 29% of Americans have no emergency savings. 21% say that they didn't have enough to cover 3 months of expenses should they become disabled. Aflac pays you a cash benefit based on your salary, so it will not completely replace it, but it will provide a financial safeguard. You can adjust your elimination periods and maximum benefit period so that the policy cost fits your budget. Short-term disability is quoted on age and annual salary in addition to the elimination period and maximum benefit period. So this is a very individualized plan. If you would like to get a personal quote, please email or call me. The information will be at the end of the webinar. Next up is hospital. Aflac has estimated the average hospital stay costs $9,700. Now that amount will most likely be reduced, but when we think back to what we went over on deductibles and coinsurance, if you have a bill like that and your deductible is $2,000 and then you have 80/20 coinsurance so that you are responsible to pay 20% of the $7,700 that's left after the deductible is reached, that's still $1,540 that comes out of your pocket. So when you get a $1,000 hospital admission benefit from Aflac, that could mean the difference between having to go on a payment plan, let's say, with the hospital, or could you be able to scrape together that $540 and just pay it off and be done with it? because, as we will see on the next slide, 58% of employees have less than $1,000 to pay unplanned out-of-pocket expenses. And that is the thing about unplanned expenses. We can save a little, we can take care of ourselves and our homes and cars to mitigate risk. But when it comes down to it, we can't plan for everything. This is where the concept of insurance in general comes in. It allows us to keep a decent lifestyle while still having financial protection in case of unplanned for situations and the expenses that come along with them. And one of the most costly unplanned situations that can occur health-wise is our next policy, a diagnosis of cancer. It's something that we don't like to think about, I know, but as diagnoses increase in our country, it really is important to give it a few minutes of thought. If you have cancer in your family history, or if you have another health condition that can lead to cancer down the road, or you want just-in-case protection, this policy is for you. As the infographic states, cancer treatment can be incredibly costly. Yes, major medical would cover a lot of that cost, but again, thinking to your deductibles and co-insurance, how much would you have to pay out of pocket before major medical took care of the rest? $2,000 could put a sizable dent in that, or again, help to cover lost wages due to missed work. As you see on the screen on the right, there is also a long list of additional benefits that would get you even more money. The last product is a critical illness policy. As you'll see on the screen, there are only a few different critical illnesses that Aflac would pay a benefit for. But this is another event that we typically don't plan for, but can be extremely costly, even with major medical insurance. So Aflac's critical care or critical illness policy through FUSD would pay an initial diagnosis benefit of $5,000, plus additional benefits if you are hospitalized, go by ambulance, have a reoccurrence of the critical illness, need continuing care, and etc. I hope this gives you a better understanding of your major medical insurance and how Aflac works to complement it, giving you a financial safety net when you need it most. If you want rate sheets or brochures, want to talk about what coverage may be best for you, have any questions, or want to set an appointment to enroll, please call, text, or email me using the information on the screen. Julie can enroll you either in person or by phone within an online signature process. This concludes the webinar. Enjoy the rest of your day.